My name is Robert Weaver. I work for Manassas City Police Department. I'm currently in a position of property and evidence technician.
Awesome. And can you give us a little background of your time here at Manassas City PD?
Yes, I came here, I started with Manassas City Police in 1990 after coming out of the military, United States Army. And I started out in communications, and after 25 years, I retired from the communication division, and they offered me a part-time job to keep doing something. So I've been in property and evidence in 2015.
Awesome. Okay, and what does Black History Month mean to you?
Well, I look at Black History Month as a way to spotlight, to shine a light on some of those before us, some African Americans, Black Americans that have achieved things that kind of roll into what is American history. And I do think it's a shame that we don't look at it as being the same, because African American history, Black history is American history. So it carries a lot of weight that it probably did when it initially started back in, I think it was 1976. Gerald Ford brought it in and said, hey, we're going to have a month, which it used to be a week. But I think when we look at it now, it is a situation where it's just a spotlight to say, hey, look at what we've contributed to this society.
Awesome. Okay, and in your lifetime, what barriers existed to prevent people of color from flourishing? Did they impact you, and have you seen a change?
I think for me, I have to go back a little further. I was very young, and of course I didn't know anything about it, but when you move forward, looking at it now, I think it was the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Because what that did was open the door for Black Americans to have a say-so in how they was going to be governed. And with the passing of that act, it gave us power. It definitely gave us power. And I think over the years, as I've grown and started to understand the importance of voting, and when you have coming along also with the power of voting, it gives you this ability also when you get into property, owning property, being engaged in your community. And I think what it does is allow you to be part of which we want to call America, in reference to just being able to have control and a say-so in how you're perceived, how your life is led, and having just some type of power. It's an empowerment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And why is it important to have a specific focus on African American history in the United States?
Interesting. Well, I look at it, I go back, and when you look at Black history, and it's any history that we have, Hispanic Heritage Month and other, things that we have, history for women. It's about understanding that we all have played a role. Because sometimes there has been this narrative where it was only one group of people that made America great, made America what it is. And when you look, we need to have that understanding that everybody that's here, this melting pot, created what America is. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, we had a role in developing. We've had a role in developing what's good about it, and we've had a role in what is those things that we probably need to change. And if you don't recognize it or understand it, then you don't know how to fix it. You don't know how to make things better. And I think when we look at the American, just sitting back saying, giving us a month, that's great. Mm-hmm. But to me, the bigger picture is understanding that, not just highlighting what we've done through a month, but understanding how we live our lives day to day and the roles that African Americans and other ethnic groups have played in the development of America over the years.
Yeah. Okay. What are some of the most important inventions that were created by African Americans?
Okay, when you talk about that, you have to excuse me. Part of my mentality is because I spent so much time in the military. Yeah. I think part of it is I look at uh, blood storage. When you go back and you look during World War II, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Drew found a way to store blood, and it was used in the battlefield. Then you move forward, you have a gentleman, Mr. Latimer, that came up with the idea of how to refrigerate, portable refrigeration, which helped with the development of storing blood. Then you look at a guy by the name of Garrett Morgan. He came up with the first gas mask, which helped as far as when you look at from the military aspect and the lives that it saved. But the most important, I think, the storage of blood, because you look at that is when the not American Heart, but the blood banks and all that started. And Dr. Drew was one of the first people. He was the first director of it. And unfortunately for him, they wanted to separate white blood from black blood, which, of course, today we realize that was kind of idiotic. But those inventions, those 3 or 4 inventions really changed things.
Okay. Something I don't think I knew about the last one. That's pretty cool. The gas mask. Last question. What do you think is the most profound moment from African American history in the United States, and how did you choose this event?
Once again, I have to back up. I was a young child, and I remember seeing it on TV. I didn't quite understand it, but it was the demonstration in Birmingham, 1963. And what it did, it showed the world with what people were capable of doing to other humans. And that was the public safety director. His name was Bull Connor. And you had about 1,000 students that were marching, and it was a peaceful march. And what wound up happening is he turned dogs on them, he turned hoses on them, and it finally gave people a chance up north to really see what was happening in some of the southern cities. And for the police, and it's easy to say the police, but this was one man that said, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what you have to do. And I'm quite, and when I look back at that, I think about how that kind of brought about some of the changes that took place. Because if that hadn't happened, who knows what would happen to the Voting Rights Act? Who knows what would happen with the Civil Rights Act? Who knows what would have happened with a lot of things that had to change over the years? Because when you treat a group of people like that, you have to have a heart. You have to care. You have to have a mentality of this is not right. It's easy to sit back and say it's not right, but if you don't stand up and choose to do something about it. And I think what happened is you saw a lot of people around the world, especially in the U.S., you saw a lot of people that didn't look like me say, this is not the right thing. This is not the way we're supposed to treat people. This is not what America is about. And it started changing things.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time and answering these questions. Do you have anything to say to the people?
The one thing I want people to understand is when you look at me or you look at someone that looks like me, you shouldn't look at me for my color, what my ethnic background or what my nationality is. I was born in this country just like everyone else. And I'm proud that I live in this country, and I've traveled all around the world through the military and got a chance to see things that is way different than what you think. Now, I realize a lot of people are leaving this country, and I understand their reasons why. But we have a responsibility as Americans to make America better for everybody, not just for a select group, not for those that scream the loudest, but for those that don't have a voice. We have a responsibility to each other to treat one another fairly, to be kind to one another, and to care about the person next to you, no matter what their ethnic background is, because this is what makes us good. And when you look at this, ask yourself, why do so many people want to come to America if it's so bad? Do we have problems? Yes, we do. Do we have things that we need to work on? Yes, we do. But we can fix this. We can make it work. We can make it better, but it starts with us. Thank you.